So, good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Battlefield EMS One Cup number 4 second day. We have both semi-finals on the way, and obviously the grand final off the back of that. And I am your host for tonight, Pansy. You can see the Twitter down below and all that good stuff. And I'm joined by the ever delightful, the most beautiful dog. But how are you doing today?
The most beautiful dog, but I didn't know
You're a
there was more than
stunning
one.
man. Well, some people try to be like you, but they can't quite nail it.
I can't keep the alcohol up. Not on my level now.
It's hard work. I don't think anyone's liver can quite take it. But how are you doing tonight? You excited about to get today's games?
I'm really interested to see on how a lot of these are going to go down. I don't know. I've already put my predictions out on the Reddit thread.
Okay.
But last time I did this, it went disastrously wrong. So yeah, gonna be careful now.
Caster's Curse coming into effect. But as I mentioned, this is going to be the final day of the Cup stage, and we'll be heading on into the groups in a moment. So let me take you guys through the rankings so far. Pretty much that top 16 is fairly confirmed for now. We'll check at the end of the day to ensure that everything is within the right place. But this is probably what you're going to be seeing into the group. So Fnatic, UMAV, Epsilon, Against All Authority, Team Dignitas, Meet Your Makers, and a couple of others are probably going to be in the top 2 of the group stages going forward, and it's damn well important to make sure in the best possible position, because it's going to be 16 teams, obviously, as you can see there, 4 groups of 4, and the top 2 qualify. So you want to have the easiest group possible, basically. So I can imagine Fnatic probably won't be in the same group as UMAV, vice versa, and you'll try and split it up as much as possible. So obviously a lot of the results now pretty much are all about that kind of making sure in the best group possible. Now, is there any surprising results here that you are still kind of surprised seeing getting to this point? Because #3 did quite well, making it in here. Eyeballers, I think everyone's kind of surprised that they slipped so much towards the end.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of the teams that have made it into the 16, some of which I feel are really contenders to really knock a top team out. So, I mean, you look at the top 6, really, they're the more consistent teams overall, in my opinion.
Yep.
GC, they have done quite well, got a Gamers Convention, but I don't know, they've never struck me as a team that can like break out. Though I'm sure now I say it, they'll knock Dignitas out and all this, and they'll go headhunting because I say it. But
pretty much how it goes.
The 3 teams in that 16 group that I really would be looking out for to cause an upset are Dynamics, Exequer, and #3 now, as they're called. Executus guys. I feel that all 3 of those teams can really make an impact. I mean, and Faculty as well also could do it. And Yorkie's there as well, and a team you never really count out. But I've really got my eye on those 3 teams the most at the moment.
Well, I think a lot of them kind of struggled in this final cup there, but they obviously have themselves fairly secured within this, so we can jump in there and have a little look at the brackets and what we're going to be seeing today. Because obviously the first day was, fairly expected. I think there was certainly a couple of tough games. Certainly a couple of maps picked up on teams that weren't expecting it, i.e. in the top there. Fnatic taking 2, getting the victory, but eSuper still being able to pick up 1 map against them. And eSuper have constantly had very, very hard teams to come up against. So, credit to them for really improving there and really trying to just shake the big guys. Exactly one of the teams you said to look out for, then had to face off against Fnatic, picking up another map as well. So Fnatic not looking so untouchable these days. And I think we all have to take into account now, and I definitely want to ask you the question, are Against All Authority a team that can really beat them now?
It's a difficult one. I feel that Fnatic's playstyle pretty much shuts down the way AAA play. AAA are pretty heavy running gun style. They love to just get in your face and get the kills. And as much as that could make Fnatic feel slightly uncomfortable, it takes a lot to make a team like Fnatic feel that way, and I just don't see them doing it. I really don't.
Okay, so we'll have to find out in that one, because that will be the game we're starting with, guys. So do not fear. As soon as they are ready, we'll be jumping into that. But looking at the other semi-final we'll be having, it's Epsilon against UMAV. So both phenomenal teams that I was always really surprised with how they're doing. Epsilon, I don't think you can say they had the easier route at all. Obviously, they had to take on Meet Your Makers there. Beat them quite convincingly as well in the end, really showing their strength throughout most of the maps. Taken down in Faculty, Meet Your Makers even took down in Faculty prior to that. And Epsilon took down C-Play. So certainly quite a tough way through for them, but UMAV as well, not the easiest way through. Names certainly able to put up a fight, taking down Pyrogen in the first round there, but UMAV in the end picking up 2 maps back to back, and then GC Esports didn't really stand too much of a chance after that one. But your thoughts on that matchup as well, because obviously we'll be following this the first game up with this one. Which way is that going to swing here?
I think the only team that can really upset Epsilon at the moment is UMAV and Fnatic, and I think this will be the big test for Epsilon if they can get past it. I still feel that Epsilon are a much better team,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to a lot of their playstyles. UMAV do well and then falter. They have like amazing starts where they batter the opposing team, they make them look a bit stupid. Then the
Yep.
other team kind of starts to work it out, and then they don't really reset. They don't really get it together and they kind of fall apart. But they've been practicing a lot. I've been watching them scrimming a lot recently.
Hmm.
They are very hungry. They want this win more than anything. But at the same time, a lot of teams now, and I feel this is going to come into effect, especially with a team like Fnatic, which are very tactics orientated, going to start hiding tactics. Their
Mm.
biggest concern is the final coming up, and that's something which I think is going to be a tale of two cups in a way. Is Epsilon are going to do incredibly well online, but it's how they're going to perform on LAN is going to be a big issue.
Yeah, I do remember speaking to Fnatic in the early days of this, and even back then, just before this kind of stage of it started, they were very cautious about tactics leaking in any way, shape, or form. They did not want anyone knowing what they are up to there, and they've always been quite adamant that if you do watch them practice, you do not tell a single word to anyone else. I had the chance to watch them on Locker before, and obviously, I'd say one of their stronger maps. And they do not like people understanding what is going on there. So certainly quite a secretive team in that aspect, and I can imagine a lot of other teams will be showing that kind of intent towards, even if it's just the group stages, if not the offline finals, because it's not exactly a small amount of money on the line, and it's all about finding that kind of middle ground where you're still doing very well for yourselves, and obviously you're not stumbling, but you're not giving up everything. And I think Fnatic, a lot of their fans could probably arguably say that's why they're dropping maps, but then again, they've certainly been pushed. Too easy will happily tell you if Morton, Value, or Unfixed don't play absolutely spot on. They do struggle at times because Winghaven's not exactly always going to be the big fragger there, and Too Easy normally plays quite an objective-based role. If Value and Co are not on point, they can struggle. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one goes down today, because they will be facing Against All Authority, and I really haven't seen a lot of the Against All Authority side, so I'm rather looking forward to see how they play here. Fnatic are certainly a testing team. There's no easy way to kind of go through them or around them. What can I expect from Against All Authority? Because I've seen very small amounts of them. I missed out on the Cup 3, obviously, as I wasn't here. So Jason had the pleasure of seeing it, whereas I kind of skipped it. What sort of game style can I expect from these guys?
AAA very much a run and gun team, and you were
Mm-hmm.
talking there about how Fnatic can always rely on Valutaja to do amazingly well. Well, here's a team that lives and dies on Drunks and Raiden to do
Right.
well. If those
Okay.
guys don't get those kills, then it starts to come a cropper quite quickly.
Okay, so it's all about their star players pretty much stepping up, which is quite surprising, really. A lot of these teams, I feel as though they've kind of moved beyond that these days, but certainly still a very big factor. Kind of curious to see how these guys play. Obviously, with two teams with similar styles to it, obviously Value and Unfix being such key players for Fnatic, and obviously, as you said, Raiden and Drunks being the key players for Against All Authority. Interesting to see how that will cancel out. And guys at home, obviously, get yourself involved. I want to hear your thoughts towards this. I already had a couple of tweets yesterday that were incredible. People really getting involved with the predictions. Keep doing it. I love hearing from you guys. So tweet at myself, at They Call Me Pansy, and obviously at my co-caster, at Dignitas Dogbert. I want to hear your thoughts for the game coming up. Obviously, Fnatic up against All Authority. This is the first semi-final. I think we are almost ready to go underway, so I'll drop us into game, and hopefully all is working. I think Zavod's going to be the first map. I'm not 100% sure. We aren't live just yet, as you can probably tell, because they're shooting each other. But Zavod, what sort of map, what sort of game style do you think we're going to see here? Which team really suits this one a little bit better than the other? Because I've seen Fnatic struggle here. This is not one of their strengths in my eyes, but have they improved as Against Authority got a bit of a strength here? What can I expect from this map?
Especially from all authorities' point of view, they played this map quite a lot from the beginning to the end. I remember not so long ago they literally said they didn't even practice this map; they just kind of avoided it. But now it's become one of their strengths. They played it against Dignitas yesterday. They managed to win that quite convincingly as well. They did very well, and that was a map that Dig chose, I believe. Actually, it might be the other way around. So all authority have picked this map again, so they must be feeling quite good on it. Their tactics are just generally a very aggressive playstyle, just coming forward, get the frags. You'll see a lot of control in the middle. It's going to be key for both teams if they can get it. And if I can quickly check their kits. I wouldn't be surprised if they start using the rocket launchers to open up the C point as much as possible, start to change up the firing zones, make it angles not be what you're used to, especially Fnatic. They're so used to certain angles and corners to hide behind.
Yep.
You start getting rid of them, it starts to really mess up their set positions.
Well, I'll be very interested to see how that goes down. Obviously, the thing at the start of this tournament was it was still very much a fresh game to all of their eyes. No team really had a full anti-strat on the others, let's say. But then, obviously, as the cup's going to progress and the teams start to understand each other, you see a lot of the adaptations, and the team's kind of working out what the other team generally feels comfortable with. So I've seen a lot of teams starting to challenge the likes of Fnatic on maps like Operation Locker and their more strengths. So it's going to be curious for me to see this one, and I am very much looking forward to this. So I believe both teams are here. We are just going to be waiting on them to get ready here. So let's take you through the lineups while I can. So Fnatic, I've known these guys for a long time now. Two of their players hailing from enemy territory, the others from various other titles, absolute veterans of the FPS genre. You've got the likes of Winghaven, Valutaja, aka Reload, if you do remember him from back in yesteryear, Unfixed, Too Easy, and more. Now, these guys have been playing together for a long time. They are a solid team, and they've always been tipped as one of the betters within Battlefield in my eyes so far. But they've certainly been dropping a lot of maps, so it's not exactly the most smooth, comfortable road at present. But then you go over to the Against All Authority side, who had a phenomenal Cup number 3. And if you do want to check that out, head over to battlefield-ems1.com and see for yourself. Really upset a lot of kind of big teams there, and it was a little bit surprising to some of these guys. But as you mentioned, Against All Authority, the likes of Raiden, Drunks, Enox, Broma, and Abricot. Raiden and Drunks, as you mentioned, two players we certainly need to be keeping our eyes on, and I'm looking to see what actually they're running with now. I'm not sure if they're going to be completely using this one in game. Ace 52 CQB, and why did these teams go for this one? Why is this in play now? Because I've seen a couple of people choosing this.
The Ace-52 is pretty much a solid hipfire weapon. It's very good at close and mid-range. Does a lot of damage. There is a few reasons why it gets used quite a lot. A lot of the one-on-one encounters, the first few shots have a good habit of getting a good quick kill. They do a lot of damage early on. But at the same time, it doesn't have the kind of long range as, say, the Ace-23. So you have the players that like the ability to pick off at range. So Unfixed here, he's running with the Ace-23. And so is Valutaja. So obviously, a lot of players still like to go for that kind of long range. But the Ace-52, for that C area, especially underneath it, is going to be key.
Yeah, indeed, and I'll be interested to see that one, because Valu generally does play that role. He'll sit on the stairs and kind of make sure he's dominating in the close range. He'll always try and kind of retain the advantage in those one-on-ones wherever he is. So I think we are just about ready to go live. So on the Russian side, it will be Fnatic. On the US team, it'll be Against All Authority. And I'm going to push you for a bit of a prediction here on this map, not the whole thing. So you don't have to completely go out on a limb. But who do you think is going to pick this one up?
I would say I'm going to go with Fnatic. My heart always says Fnatic. They got so many players that I've known for so long, and I trust them to do well by my judgment, and I believe they're probably going to either take this 2-1 or 2-0.
Well, we can only find out. We're going to see how they start. Obviously, they will be starting up in the more northern side of this, where the southern side is going to be AA. And is this going to be the normal rush to B, see where they split? But we saw a couple of teams fancying the A push as well recently.
I think Fnatic will play very straight up, but I believe AAA might try and sneak about a bit more.
Well, I think you're absolutely right to be saying so. Drunks is already split off. They are mostly actually going through mid, so I don't want to stick on with Drunks here. Maybe going to be trying to catch straight on towards that A site. Through mid he goes. We are seeing the exchange going through down on B, but a minimal commitment from AAA. Now pushing, and we are seeing Drunks exchanging with Mort. Does not get his hands on the flag, but Raiden is close by. Too Easy will deal with him, and now it comes down to B. C has fallen to the US side, so that's their comfort zone, but B should be converted by Fnatic if they can hold on here. A little bit of a respawn will come through. Winghaven does lay down the fire. The nade will pick up the opponent. Still one man standing on this side, though. He's not completely controlled this, and it is a 2-on-1 hold right off the bat for AAA.
Yeah, but it's a one that they can't hold at all. You can see Drunks immediately ran back, but the spawn over A is going to be the big issue here. But that's fine from Fnatic's point of view. They want to reset. They want to just get this C and B, and that's what they're going to go for. But you can see that Drunks playing smart, not giving away his position. Now that's a spawn, and you can see Fnatic going to be attacking two sides right now.
Yeah, let's see if Drunks can make this one stick. Nice little opener, taking down Unfixed. Still looking at the B side, nading over that nade. Not quite landing where he wanted it to, ideally. And we are seeing C, once again, still being held by Mort, so he's holding strong. But as you mentioned, B being the important site here, Drunks is trying to do the work. He does not have any backup just yet. Too Easy did go down in mid, so also no backup coming for Fnatic, but Drunks does get the respawn, so still battling hard on this site. Finally, Raiden coming across, the other key player here, getting quite aggressive. He knows where the players are. They're outnumbering the opponents here. Does spot out Winghaven, but he will fall eventually. So, bit of an exchange again. I think Fnatic may just have the numbers on this one eventually, and we might be seeing a trip cap coming out.
Yeah, I mean, Drunks just played a huge part in the taking away of the 2 flags there by Fnatic. As soon as they committed everyone to get rid of Drunks at that B flag. Obviously, more people were spawning on top of him, but the fact he was able to stay alive and get the kills for so long, the defender left C to come to B to help mop up. And while that happened, C was taken with no man dead, and the ticket bleed is now fully against Fnatic.
Yeah, indeed, and Drunk still applying pressure towards that B side, just spraying out a little bit, trying to get a connection. He does take down Value, so that's really alleviated some of the pressure, but the respawns Fnatic are coming in. 2 big kills on that B side now. He is dominating this. There's still 1 player lurking in the background, however. I believe that's Mort there, so maybe waiting out the time, seeing how it goes, because it's been a bit of a split spawn from Fnatic. Where should they go from here? They still have that A site in hand.
They're going to have to harass an A as much as possible, but they want B, they want C, and that's what they're going to go for. Obviously starting at B, but I think you're going to see quite quickly Winghaven's going to start positioning himself for that C attack. You can see it now. That's everyone wiped out at A, so it's a matter of time. Spawns are going to come in Winghaven and more, or they're going to go random spawn. Unfix has got that, and he's just going to pressure that A flag, but the main pressure is going to fall on C.
Yeah, we are seeing 1 player already been taken down, so Winghaven having to play it a little bit careful. Too Easy is joining him, but Radon on the push picks up 1 lovely little crossfire. And once again, against our Authority, just looking very dominant on that C site. We are seeing the split push coming out from Broma as well to go towards B. They're going to be going for the trip cap, and, well, Fnatic are kind of struggling to get a bit of a foothold into this one. A seems as though it's the last resort, but it's never an easy take against these guys. There is still a player present. It is Apricot here, so he's just proning it down, playing carefully, waiting on the push. Valu gets tagged up extraordinarily heavily. We are seeing C swinging back and forth as well. This is going both ways. Unfix is being that turreting defensive player, however. Finally gets overwhelmed by Against All Authority, who are breaking through, but all points are being captured at the moment. Fnatic seemingly lost out on the A site and on the C site, but B did go into their favor. So once again, a 2-1 to Against All Authority.
Yeah, AAA are just being ultra aggressive. It's working out for them right now, and Fnatic are having a really hard time finding their feet in this game. They started off strong, but from then on out, as soon as they didn't mop up Drunks over a B, it's not really been their game. Slowly but surely, they might be able to get the handle back in here, but you can see the middle of the map is constantly AAA, and that means that they can jump on any flag they need.
Yeah, Enox being one of those players spots out the fact that A was being captured. Lovely little pickup in the assist there, taking down some of Fnatic. They know there's still at least 1 man present on that side, being cautious, spotting underneath the machinery, spots out more, does get the kill as well. So A will be swinging back over into their favor, and they left Broma to pretty much lock down that C site, and he does it so well as well. So already a great start from these guys, converting B over. So I can imagine they'll negate A and then just lock that BC hold.
Oh, at the same time, but just constantly in Fnatic's face right now. Broma managed to pretty much hold that C flag by himself, 2-on-1, did it perfectly well. And he just got third. Broma right now is a really solid player at the moment. One of the recent pickups by AAA, and a player who's doing a lot of damage in a lot of these games. The missing piece in what was maybe a critical player that they kind of lacked. They have the killing power up front with Raiden and Drunks, but now they have more of a solid player. They can leave and not have to worry about flags so much.
Yeah, but he certainly can handle himself there. He does take down a nice little kill on the cross, spotting out more as well. Does not get the easy fire through, however, so has to be a bit careful. Going aggressive anyway, dodging the bullets like it's going out of fashion. They're still applying pressure on A. They do not play just defensive games, but Winghaven has a little bit of a cheeky spawn here. He can get himself over towards C. He's got the respawns on him, and they might be able to convert this one with maybe not as much pressure as they've had previously. Against All Authority are locked out of this site, but can they reclaim it now? Winghaven does take more of a back seat in this one, leaving Too Easy and Co to lay down the fire. Value has been taken down. Excuse me, it was Unfixed. Too Easy now going down, leaving just Winghaven on the site. With only 54 tickets left, these guys are really struggling now. Winghaven going down. This site is pretty much Against All Authorities for the taking, and this once again could be a trip cap coming out.
Yeah, they're losing a lot of these 2v2s, 3v3s. None of them are going away. Even in some cases, losing 2v1s is not going Fnatic's way. I mean, right now, from Fnatic's point of view, they got to be more worried about just making sure that AAA don't walk away with a large score into the next round.
So I've got to pick it up here with Drunks. He's already sitting on 15-5, so I want to see what he's doing oh so right. They are still looking at A, and the one thing I noticed, Against All Authority, don't just sit back and be passive. They just constantly fight. They're constantly looking for those crossfires and those setups, and they're safe in their respawn. So a very aggressive line hold here. Yet we are seeing a couple of players breaking through, the likes of Valu finding a way out to B, but instantly gets caught there. Not going to be finding an easy path. Enox being that key player, and Broma already round the back towards A. As soon as they lose one site, they're immediately looking for the reply. It's phenomenal to to watch as 27 tickets is all that Fnatic have left on the first half.
Yeah, they can put up a big fight in the middle of the middle map because they know the spawn for them is going to come in somewhere near A or roundabout. So they're just being ultra aggressive because they know right now that they have such a significant lead that they can just get away with it. Nothing's really going to stop them. Fnatic are the ones who are kind of second guessing exactly what they should be doing here, while AAA is just all over them.
Yeah, they certainly are. So we are seeing the split coming out from Unfixed. He's got himself over towards the B site now, but he's pretty much the only man there. He's finally got the respawns going through, but Raiden being the key player now towards that C section, getting the counter cap going, spamming through. They will be converting this one as well, so those tickets are going to start bleeding away from Fnatic unless Fnatic can get A as well. And we're already seeing Against All Authority well beating them to the punch, and Too Easy trying to lay down the fire on the cross, but nothing connecting. Raiden's doing the job still by C, so there is no easy sides available for Fnatic. Against All Authority, who will be getting A with no one to contest it, excluding Too Easy, who's very much alone, and C is already being locked down by Against All Authority. These guys are looking phenomenal on this map, almost having over 100 tickets left by this point, challenging out everyone they can, converting on B, leaving Fnatic to only once again have that A site.
I do not know what's happened to Fnatic. They are just not communicating half as well with AAA are. AAA are constantly getting the crossfires. They constantly have the better positions. They've never really been caught out at all by Fnatic and never been surprised and have just completely overwhelmed one of the most solid teams in Battlefield 4 right now.
That is ridiculously... Literally, Fnatic did not have a chance to even break into that game then. 91 tickets is massive. As you said, Drunks and Raiden, two big players. When they play well, Against All Authority play well as a team. 18-8, 12-11. Whereas on the other side, you know, Fnatic will happily tell you when their key players don't play well, they struggle. Value on 5-15. If you've ever seen that man play badly, it's a rare sight. So you can imagine the effect that's probably having. Now, obviously, one player can't define an entire team's outcome, but it certainly doesn't help. So surely that's going to be in the back of their minds there, and it's not going to be an easy thing to overcome. 91 tickets is a big, big hill now to climb.
It is indeed. A player I really like to point out, and then Bromo did a great job holding down that C flag by himself.
Yes.
A lot of key plays, a lot of good kills. And Drunk's original play at the beginning of that game, not being caught out at B, managing to keep Fnatic busy. More importantly, not only just busy at B, but also draw away defenders from C, a flag which can sometimes be held by a single man, and literally gifted a free cap to AAA. Absolutely brilliant play by him.
Well, so that's the exact start Against All Authority wanted, and I can imagine this sort of play really did carry them through in Cup number 3 towards those finals. So we will be going into the second half here now. All you have to keep in mind is if Fnatic drop below 91 tickets, so the US side, which is on the right of your screen, so my overlay will be updated now, they are already down on the first map and will be moving on to the second. And that's a big kind of threat to overcome here. These guys are not used to having, you know, a big challenge at the start. And we saw a very interesting start coming out of Against All Authority when they had the US spawn. They split towards A, they were constantly aggressive, they didn't do the usual B push. Do you think we might see something like that again from them?
I think AAA are more likely to do something different, but I think from Fnatic's point of view, straight up once again, I don't see them trying anything different. Raiden is running engineer, so I expect that seawall to get blown in quite quickly.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes on him as the exchange will be going down on B. There's 4 players present, a mid-split from Against All Authority. They just keep negating the normal crossfire and pushing straight in. Lovely play from Drunks, straight in towards that C side, takes down Unfixed. He spots out Mort, drops in, looking for the kill, looking for that pickup. He needs to get it, and he does. That could be C going over into the hands of Against All Authority straight away, and that is the ideal site for them. And this is a phenomenal start, a triple cap to begin with. Fnatic, what on earth just happened to these guys? They're falling apart at the wayside. Enox being a pivotal player towards that A side. He's just going to be playing it calm. He spotted out Winghaven earlier, comes back, picks up the kill. And now he knows exactly where Fnatic are, and they can just focus on this. What a brilliant start here.
Absolutely brilliant start from AAA. They got exactly what they wanted there. Nothing went wrong at all. And I would hate to say this, but I already feel like Fnatic are like, okay, next map. Because they just don't seem to be here.
They genuinely don't. Normally, it's a big step up, and I need to watch Value to see how he's playing, because this man is one of the best FPS players I've seen before. But today, that is not the value that we know. That is a very different sight, and we're seeing the aggressive against all authority with that BC hold, constantly applying the pressure. We're seeing Drunks pushing around, picking up another. Mort's gone down. He knows there's a player because he gets the exchange with Winghaven. Not the ideal kill, but still, look how far away Fnatic are. Still hardly any breaking up points, going back to the safety zone of A, and this is a struggling Fnatic.
Yeah, and I don't know how much I can read into like the weapon choices here, but I honestly feel that an advantage on a map like this really does go to the team running the Ace 52. Much better in these close quarter exchanges. Really just does a lot more damage. It will win you fights that really, in some way, you should lose at close quarters.
Yeah, and if you can dictate those one-on-ones and really just swing that situation into your favor, then obviously you've got to run with it. But Winghaven just touching that B side, leaving the respawning team to maybe pick it up. But look at the tickets, 98 already. He's trying out C. He was literally the last hurrah for Fnatic then, as they're now left with nothing, absolutely nothing to hand. B didn't get capped over. They don't have A, they don't have C. Fnatic just need to look at the second map here, because this is a horrific start for them. Triple capped again.
Yeah, like I said, Fnatic have stopped playing. They realized it was over. There was nothing they can do. And Trunks has literally just gone 5-0 and not died in the second round against Fnatic. Absolutely amazing play by AAA. They absolutely just destroyed the top-ranked team right now in PF4.
That is absolutely unbelievable. That's the manual screen running with the Ace 52 CQB. As you said, if you can really dominate those close quarter exchanges, then run with it. There's absolutely no reason not to. It may be slightly harder on the long range, as you said, but if you can still dominate those exchanges, then it's certainly the best choice. But against all authority, picking up the first map in some convincing fashion. The second map, however, might be a different kind of ordeal here. We will be going to Operation Locker, which I feel is one of Fnatic's home and strongest maps. So I'm looking at them to really turn this one around. If you guys are new to what you're watching, this is obviously the Battlefield EMS One Cup number 4. The rules are all down where my hand there. Screens are hard, is there. So 5 per team, best of 3, 2 rounds per map, 150 tickets per round, and vehicles are off. So obviously you know what domination is. I guess you guys are Battlefield players, but I thought I'd summarize in case you are just tuning in. And if you have missed every single cup to this point, make sure you head over to the battlefield-ems1.com site and check out all the VODs, because they are up and waiting for you guys. We are now ready to go into Operation Locker. What can we expect here? Because Fnatic need to change something now.
Yeah, and I think Fnatic are going to be quite comfortable. They're professionals. They've been here. They've done that. They'll reset. Forget the last map. We're playing on our home turf now. Let's just see what happens. But you can see AAA instantly going for a very aggressive style. 3-4 people in the middle of the map. And I'm not even sure that Fnatic are that surprised.
No, it seems to be becoming a bit of a trend here. Only leaving Enox outside by C, but we are seeing a very aggressive split corner for Apricot, who's actually managed to slip through the mid. He does finally get spread out by Unfix. It doesn't matter. He got the kill. Winghaven avenged, and C will stay in the hands for now for Fnatic. We are seeing a nice little breakthrough from Valu. Him and Too Easy now challenging down A. This is better from these guys. They could be going for the trip cap here, and we are seeing the back spawn coming in for Against All Authority, but Enox in a great position still.
Yeah,
was in a great position.
Well, AAA are going to get the spawn. They will be able to threaten the B flag, but I think they're going to be completely wiped out, and Fnatic are going to get the hold they want here, which is a C and A1. Right now, not a lot of AAA guys on the board. Apricot just came in. He's going to have an interesting position now, as he's going to take the top hill over at C. Interesting if AAA were actually holding their spawns to wait until Fnatic move back. Well, a full domination cap in effect, and right now, I don't think they can play around like that.
No, certainly can't. You can never mess with Fnatic on this map. I've always felt it's their strongest point, and once they can now set up here, they've left a maybe not the ideal spawn. Raiden getting the bit of a back spawn now, so he could challenge down that B side, maybe play it safe, wait for the respawns to come through. He has done that indeed. One player now coming in, but he does not expect Unfix just to his right there. Unfix playing that kind of back anchor role, making sure he's playing safe, takes down Broma as well. That's perfect play. He knows there's going to be one more player here, going to drop out that spam nade, hopefully get the connection, still being very cautious. He wants to rather go for the retake than maybe the challenge, but it does seem as though that B site is going to be overwhelmed by Against All Authority pretty damn soon. A being capped over by Fnatic for now. B pretty much the last bastion for Against All Authority. As it being trip capped again, Fnatic seem to be proving a point now.
Yeah, I think so. They're really stamping their authority on this. And I think that's because there's 2 ways that teams usually play Locker. An aggressive style, run and gun, A and B, and then you've got Fnatic style, which is A and C, and just a very smart game. And I think they're slowing it down now and just hurting AAA when they can.
Yeah, they most certainly are. With 94 tickets to 141, Enox had a little bit of a lucky positioning towards A. He does get taken down in the end by Winghaven, so not the ideal start. Broma then splitting out towards that C side, but they're not locking anything down. Against all authorities, maybe sweeping aggression might be almost their downfall, as they seem to be spreading themselves a little bit too thin, but however, Raiden does find Mort, catching him in the heels on the way out towards C. We are seeing a little bit of split from Unfixed, but A does seem to be going into Against All Authorities' favour, but Valo in a great position once again if they fancy those respawns.
True, and the spawns coming in for Fnatic are kind of what they need, but at the same time, the scoreline for Fnatic exactly what they need. They've got a lot of lead room. There's not really that much AAA can do. They need to start to slow this game down a little or completely blitz Fnatic, and they've already tried that and it didn't work. So they need to come in with different tactics at least, because Fnatic here just seem to throw AAA off the flags whenever they put their mind to it.
Yeah, we finally see C going to hands of AAA, but they're not getting the breakthrough towards that A site. Finally, the respawns are coming in. We are seeing the likes of Mott being the last bastion, the last man standing. Lovely little exchange there with Enox, just buying enough time for the likes of Unfix now to come back around and really defend this A site. Beautiful play, beautiful setup. Valu taking down the infirmary route, trying to make sure no one pushing in. He's got too easy covering his right. He knows he's safe for now. Has to play quite carefully, but he still has this one under control. Enox doing the job, though. He's picked up the kills, and now he's looking for his way through, being challenged out by Too Easy, though. Too Easy will win that one, and A will stay in the hands of Fnatic for now, and they're already converting over towards that B side. So once again, a very good kind of dealing with the damage hold there, I feel, coming in from Fnatic.
Yeah, and Fnatic, like I said, when they put their minds to it on a map like this, they're comfortable in, that they're not getting fired at from angles they're not used to. They're just dangerous. They know what to do on this map, and that's why they pick it as much as possible.
Yeah, and there has been an absolute massacre on the B site. I think the last man standing was one of the Against All Authority members, aka Abricot there, who will be converting over that, I believe it's the B site. They're now putting some attention towards A, so they could get a trip cap here, and it seems as though Fnatic are left with the scraps pretty much. No easy route in towards A. Mort's toying with the idea of it, allowing Too Easy to split through, but there's a player just behind him who will be challenging him down and hopefully avenging his teammate in a moment. There we go, that will be Enox coming through, but Valu, the last real kind of big player around here, can he pick up the kills? He's got the opener there. He's just trying to make sure he's not overextending now. Dropping out the nade. Doesn't connect ideally. The two nades coming back will, however, take him extraordinarily low. And Fnatic get held in place once again, as Against All Authority are still down, though, in that 2-1. Excuse me, they have the advantage of the 2-1 hold and looking to just maintain A as well as C.
Yeah, they're very, very careful when they come into an A push. They really put a lot of effort to make sure that they're pressuring from 2 to 3 sides. They're never just coming in through one entrance. So they really do make teams worry and second guess where the attack's coming. Then it all comes in at once and then just get wiped out. But AAA is starting to even this game out. It might not look it in tickets. It's still almost more than 2-1. But they are slowing it down and getting some tickets away, which means they got an easier task next round.
Well, we're going to find out. Raiden's still trying to challenge, but Too Easy's doing such a good job just being that pest around the B site. Picking up 2 already. Going to be trying to recap that over, at least teasing the attention of it. But 38 tickets, that's all that's left for Against Authority. Very different team to what we saw on the first map. Nowhere near as dominant. We are seeing the likes of Unfixed and more doing real damage now. Trying to hold on to A, trying to challenge out. It seems like it's going to be going over towards Against Authority for now at least, but it's not a very simple hold. Abricot just about staying alive, taken down Too Easy. And immediately Winghaven cutting through the mid, maybe challenging down that seaside, but he cannot get across. Raiden challenging straight away. He will be eventually picked up by Valu, and we are seeing a 2 to at least 1 possible hold here, once again in the favor of the opposition of Against All Authority, but straight away there's a reply from Fnatic this time.
Yeah, Fnatic are really going over the top on this push for C. AAA are playing this A-B attack like over and over again. They pay attention to C only when they have to. And really, Fnatic are playing the wrong game, being stuck out in the cold so long, because A and B is exactly what AAA are gunning for all the time.
Yeah, certainly are. We are seeing that B staying in the hands of Against All Authority. Unfixed not finding an easy way through here, and to be fair to Against All Authority, they're working down the tickets that, you know, Fnatic had just really stored up in the bag there. Mort will be spamming out those nades towards the connecting passage down mid-road. We are seeing it being held on for now at least, Nice little bit of spam coming through. They are keeping the Wolves at bay for once, and this is a very different looking side from Fnatic. Very much a very different team from the first map, but only 29 tickets now remaining for Against All Authority. They've got to start weighing up their options. It seemed that C was the side they want to head for. Drunks going for the split round the side, finds Unfix, now needs to find at least one more player, but they have got the site at least for now in hand.
Yeah, but you can see a big three-man grouping of AAA near the B flag, and they're going to try and push this A flag quite heavy. More importantly, they also want to influence the fight out of C. But that fight right now is probably going to go Fnatic's way, but they're over-committing to it, and AAA are going to hammer this A flag.
Yeah, they most certainly are, and as you can see, 3 players already just swarming that one. The exchange outside did actually go once again in favor to Against All Authority, so really awkward stuff from those guys. It's not going the way they wanted, and Against All Authority seem to be holding on to A for now as well. Finally, the opener comes in from Winghaven, but Raiden certainly still standing, spamming out those nades, looking to hold them in place for now, and they are working those tickets away from Fnatic, 47 to 22. Finally, we are seeing that break coming out from Mort. They're making his way in here, but Drunk's going for the retake. Does not make it through. Broma now, pretty much with all to do towards A, goes straight in, but they've held on to B and C in quite comfortable fashion, leaving just Fnatic 1 flag.
Yeah, even though Fnatic do have the upper area on C, the lovely hill, a very important place, they're not able to really throw Apricot out of that C flag without coming off that hill and opening himself up to fire. So right now, I think Fnatic are going to have to start looking at A and B, but the problem is then they end up in a scrappy fight with a team that they should have dispatched quite a while ago, considering the ticket lead they have.
Yeah, they're certainly going to be regretting that one now. Against All Authority, trying to get that A side in hand. Winghaven, however, seemed to be proving a little bit of a nuisance. Does pick up Raiden, does not manage to take down Enox, however, but B is a site that's going to be contested over. Broma already getting to the faces of the opponents, finds value by the stairwell. Not going to be able to pick him up too easily. Unfix doing the damage, but still, this is going back and forth, and they've got a solid hold here, actually, for Fnatic, but only 1 flag. The tickets are almost even. This could swing either way now. This is unbelievable from Against All Authority. Certainly turn this one on its head, but we are seeing more with a little bit of a chance here possibly to get towards C.
Yeah, and it all comes down to this fight over the B flag. Fnatic are going to spread out over this map quite quickly, but at the same time, it only comes down to one-on-ones now. And if this fight goes the way of AAA, then I don't really know how they're going to respond. But AAA are taking way too much time over on that C flag right now. They should have got in there a lot sooner, and it all comes down to these 2 exchanges at C and B.
Well, Broma will be fighting it out with Mort. He's won that one over, so C will be going their way. But Too Easy splitting across towards that B side, trying to get it over, but Raiden wins that one as well. This is not looking good for Fnatic. This actually could go Against All Authority's way. Against All Authority have the A side. They're still holding on to C. They've got the 2-1 hold. Fnatic could lose out on this after such a drastic lead. 3 tickets now remaining. They've got no chance to turn this one through. Even B being challenged out here. Unbelievable play from Against All Authority. There's always a bit of a backup plan, and we are seeing Against All Authority walking away with the advantage of 8 tickets. It may not seem much, but the advantage Fnatic had initially, that's huge.
And the worst thing is, Fnatic were in such a dominant position, but there is no way they should have even been coming close to losing like that. They were in complete control of that matchup at first. Everything was going their way, and AAA just smashed them. And I mean, even on kills, Fnatic were winning. Everything was going their way, but they just couldn't get the flags. They started to get stuck on these 1 flags all the time. They started to lose the 1v1s. They started to just be too static for AAA, and they were just overwhelmed so many times in the midpoint of that game.
That is absolutely phenomenal stuff. Even more, as you mentioned, sitting on 21 to 13 kills. To be able to do that at this level is absolutely phenomenal. He was playing a great player on A, but as you said, kills don't always mean the win there. And Against All Authority will walk away with at least an 8-ticket advantage. So if you do see Fnatic dropping below 8 tickets, that does mean that this game, this semi-final, is already over, and Against All Authority have this one. Do you think Against All Authority got enough information as to how Fnatic like to play it from the first half there, and they can kind of apply it a little bit earlier on here in the second half?
I don't know. I honestly assumed that Fnatic were going to take this map quite convincingly, and then they just seemed to shatter under the hammer for AAA threw at them. And I don't know what to say. Fnatic usually are such a solid team. You don't beat Fnatic by many tickets usually. It's usually a close-run thing. And AAA are just making them look at least a lot less threatening than they used to. And I'm totally shocked by AAA right now. Fnatic going to start off in the better side, though. They will get A. They will be able to challenge that C flag quite quickly. So maybe that will influence AAA to maybe be a bit more cautious this round.
we can only wait and see. I'm not sure if caution's the biggest thing these guys like to go for. It's been a little bit of a trial by fire. So let's see what they go for initially. They seem to go for a bit of a 4-1 split towards B. And we are seeing pretty much a massive play through mid coming out from Fnatic. Looking like they want the dominance here. They know where they're going, but Drunks and Raiden mopping up the kills very early on. Winghaven has been absolutely decimated. And Raiden doing an absolutely stellar job so far. Finally gets taken down by the nade. But the 2-1 hold goes to Against All Authority. And surely that's going to be rubbing salt into the wound for Fnatic.
Yeah, they were never going to get that C flag straight away, and I assumed the way that Fnatic were hoping to play was get control of that central tunnel. They didn't. They have got the spawn, though, and there's the interesting play. Winghaven coming up behind at C, and this might break the defense at the C flag.
Well, let's see. He is looking for Enox. He knows he's around here. Finally comes down, picking him up with the teammate in tow. They should be able to get that 2-1 hold, and immediately Too Easy and I believe one other are just trying to make sure there's no easy mid-cross coming in from Against All Authority here. Just roaming around, the likes of Value definitely up in their faces, and Mort, the two big killers out of this one, just locking them down towards that B site. We are seeing finally a little bit of a solid hold from Fnatic, but we saw this at the start before. Mort does pick up the kill. They're exchanging it through, once again being challenged out. Has to be fairly careful, and they just want to dominate that higher ground, it seems. And, well, Against Authority just can't seem to break out of it. Lovely little play from Mort then, picking up 2 with the assist coming in. Does he get the third? Yes, he does. That was absolutely stellar play. That's opened up the possibility of pushing towards B if they want it. And at the moment, it looks like a bit of a chicken shoot for Against All Authority.
Yeah, this is exactly what Fnatic need. They want to play this kind of style. They want to be able to float between the C and A flag as quick as they can. They need to keep control of this central tunnel. And right now, they're just getting so many kills on AAA. And AAA might really have just come in expecting an easier time. And Fnatic reset properly, not thinking at all, not too bothered about the last round. And they're really starting to make it hurt on AAA right now. The problem is about fighting this far forward, though. If they get wiped, that A flag will be wide open.
Yeah, Too Easy already kind of falling back a touch, being a little bit more cautious. He hasn't actually died yet. 7-0 for him. Unfixed still doing the work, so he's probably the furthest forward player, being the pest, but it was a little bit out on a limb. We are seeing Value on the respawn, trying to lock down mid. Once again, setting up those crossfires, being pushed out straight away. Drunks will win the exchange. Too Easy already rotating off the A site, maybe looking to kind of, well, minimize the damage caused, but he's not being able to land these shots on the cross. He's been naded out, spammed out, and pushed back in towards A, picked up by the opposition, but Drunks now outnumbered, has to do some real work. Picks up the revive, now looking for the kill. Spamming out those nades into the corner. He's right to be doing so. There is a player just laying away. It's Unfix, who's been completely missed. Too Easy as well. This is not a pretty sight for Against All Authority as Fnatic win the exchange, and Broma seems already prepared for the push out, and they should be able to convert this one. That is a lovely bit of play coming out, but how is this one falling back in Fnatic's favor? They seem to have gotten pushed then so far, but still retain that AC hold.
This pressure is constant from AAA. They broke it out at B, though, and this is where it's just going to be Valutaja against a 2-man, 3-man push at C. A is safe. B is going to be attacked by Fnatic. This is kind of looking good for them. They've lost that C flag. It's not going to drag on anymore. They're probably just going to go for A and B, and they're probably just going to try and hold this as long as possible. They are only behind by 8 tickets. It's nothing got bad. They just need quite a close game right now, and I think Fnatic are doing everything they can.
Well, they certainly are doing a lot better than the first time around. Unfix and Value picking up the kills as well, so certainly making it a lot harder. Enox will not be able to transfer over that B side, but Broma looks like he wants to get in on the action, immediately pushing through, knowing where the opponents are, finds more, gets a revive. B should be going their way, but already Fnatic getting set up for that hold and already looking towards that C site.
Yeah, Fnatic here, they're going to push and take that C flag. The reason that you're seeing that Winghaven's playing that far back is he just doesn't want to spawn behind A or C, because those can really upset any plans that Fnatic want. And now they're just playing very solid in the center of the map. They're going to have to be worried, though, because if they get picked off heavy here, A is going to be wide open, but that's okay. Too Easy there. He's 12 for 2. Why not? He'll get more kills. And give it plenty of time for Fnatic to reset their defenses here.
Yeah, and he's doing an absolutely stand-up job of this, just toying back and forth with them, keeping them where they are. That 2-1 hold becoming rather apparent, but here's the breakthrough. Broma just sweeping him forward, following that nade. Value still alive and kicking, trying doing the damage from afar, but that site is going over towards the hands of Against All Authority. Enox trying to hold on to B, but he will lose out to Unfix, so just one site should be left eventually for Against All Authority when B goes the other way, but they're certainly not having an easy fight towards A either, so bit of a sloppy exchange on both sides, but I will Fnatic walk out the better of this one.
Yeah, I'm not even sure right now. They seem to focus on that A and C, and they're doing good jobs of it. They're making AAA pay a lot for coming forward the way they are. They're playing a quite forward defensive game, and it's working out quite well for them. Two players constantly harassing up front, too easy unfixed, and then the rest of them just filtering back whenever that attack has gone wrong. And right now, it's giving them the lead that they need to at least win this round.
Well, let's see how this one goes. We saw a lead similar to this in the first half, so I daren't read too much into it. I'm never again going to be doubting against the Authority. These guys seem to know exactly what's going on. We have seen a little bit of a breakthrough towards the A site, however, but the threat has been dealt with. Value now takes down Enox, has opened up a little bit of a leeway through mid, and he can actually start looking towards that B site if they fancy it, and going for the trip cap, or at least the 2-1, as they will be losing out on A.
Yeah, and I think Fnatic now are going to start changing their tactics here and start going for flags over the kills. Probably not going for the usual holds now. They're going to mix it up a bit. They're going to pressure B a lot. They're just going to take A and then get B whenever they can. And really just try and change this game and make it a bit less like how it was at the beginning and early points now. They've got the lead. That's all they need to continue.
Yeah, and Fnatic are actually already set up for that A take, and they are getting the respawns in. Mort is now watching across mid, making sure there's no easy respawns going through for against Authority, but they've dominated that mid pass, leaving Value the linchpin here of the push towards A, at least for now. C should be going over towards against all Authority, as there's no one really yet to challenge it. Winghaven a little bit late to the party. Raiden still trying to challenge down Value, but not an easy task. Both will exchange, and A is left open for the taking, but sits in the hands of Fnatic for now, but they still have that 2-1 hold against them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Fnatic are going to go for here. I think they're just going to try and pressure all flags at this point. They know that they've got a bit of a lead.
Wow.
They can get away with doing that, and that's what they're going to do.
Well, it does seem as though too easy, and I believe it's more starting to eye up that B side. He's got the cap underway, but there is still Broma in on this one. C looks like it could be challenged over by against Authority as well, and they can certainly lock that one down if needs must, leaving just Fnatic with the A site. Certainly looking towards that C split, spotting out Apricot there. We do see Value getting the tag, finally gets the frag. And now possibly opening up a little bit of an idea that they could actually get this one. There's no one there to challenge it. But immediately we've seen Enox breaking through towards the A side. He's going to be just trying to get across in time. But that mid-hold from Fnatic is rather potent. But it is still a very close scoreline. Let's bear in mind, Fnatic are the ones, if they drop below those 8 tickets, are in trouble. But they should be able to get this 2-1 hold.
Yeah, and AAA here taking a bit of time moving in on the A flag after they got the wipe quite quickly. And I think that was more to do. They expected a bit more pressure. But Fnatic were pretty much all clustered around the metal detectors. And they eventually sandwiched, first of all, the AAA attackers and then got sandwiched themselves. And it's back and forth right now. AAA, this isn't lost for them at all. But I think Fnatic have really found their feet now and they're starting the run.
Yeah, they certainly are. Nice little spawn around the back there for Unfix, and I can imagine it's Winghaven as well. Good little nade connecting. That's going to help him out. Unfix taking down Broma. Will be avenged, however, and Apricot falling back to a more defensive posture, knowing that Mort will be pushing forward. That nade will give away the game, but Raiden now taking up the mantle, takes down Mort, and they'll hold on to the A side, but they are going to lose out on B for at least a second, but they should be able to claim this one back over and retain that 2-1 hold if they can hold A as well. This is definitely not over yet for Against All Authority. They are still working so damn hard for this.
Yeah, and they're starting to put together coordinated attacks that are really, really hurting Fnatic. Right now, Fnatic are at least a step behind AAA at all times. Every time Fnatic are looking like they're going to get a 2-flag cap, AAA either block it or take another flag, which should have been better defended. And right now, it all comes down to this B fight.
Well, let's see who's going to win it at the moment. Against the Authority have the vast numbers in on this one. They will be looking like they're going to convert it. Value, the only one really close to this. C still sticking in the hands of Against the Authority. B, as you mentioned, being such an important site here. Value does get spotted out, goes for the nade. Not the kill. Drunk's picking up his teammate. Fnatic are in trouble here. C will be going over into the hands of Fnatic, however. So they might be in a little bit of a better setup position with that A site if Winghaven can take down Raiden. He's done the job, and that has given at least a little bit of a leeway moment for Fnatic to hold that 2-1.
Yeah, it all comes down to A now. If AAA can get in there and get a bit of control, thing is they might sacrifice B, and I think Fnatic are going to push it as soon as they can. This isn't far from gone. It's just AAA need to get their hands in that flag as quick as possible, and it's just Valutaja as defender.
Yeah, Valu Taja is in trouble. He's been taken down, and there's no easy route through. Unfixed, rather than going in solo, he's going to be playing it passively. 8 tickets now remain for Against Authority. Lovely little setup there from Unfixed. Waiting for the push. Double kill coming in for him. And now I can get that counter cap underway. Maybe get that 2-1 hold. Immediately Mort looking towards B just to hedge his bets. Broma picking up the kills. 8 tickets now left for Against Authority. 40 for Fnatic. 42 if you take away the last rounds. But still, this is not a pretty sight for Against Authority. They haven't found their footing as they did in that late game coming into this map. 2 tickets now remaining. This looks like this is certainly going Fnatic's way, turning it back after a very shaky first half. All flags now being contested. Against Authority not being able to challenge out that seaside. 1 ticket now left for them. They're going down on B. Any respawn now could be the issue, as just Drunk's left alive, and I don't think he can do much here. He's doing what he can. He takes down a lovely little kill there, really doing the damage, but he's being pressured from every single angle, and it's a matter of time. And there we have it. 39 tickets will be remaining overall for Fnatic. They will be claiming that second map, so we're tied all even here. And is that what you expected towards the end of this one?
I was surprised that this game was even as close as it was. I thought Fnatic were going to come out a lot harder on this map, and AAA really did surprise me. They were very close to causing Fnatic a big problem at the end there. That scoreline might not look it, but AAA were very close from almost being able to shut out Fnatic again.
Oh, certainly, and considering this has always been one of the strong points for Fnatic, being able to do this to them has got to be boosting their confidence. Too Easy and Valu are the big differences in my eyes. Valu played absolutely perfectly. He found his footing within the A site, and once he starts playing that kind of A push role when he's just on that little side entrance, he can play it so well, and that I feel is one of his strengths, and he's always doing well. Too Easy was, I think, about 8-0, 7-0 for such a long time. So interesting to see those two when they step up seem to do a lot better for the overall team. But curious about that last map choice coming in here. Very interesting stuff coming in for that final map. I'm not sure actually what it's going to be. So I think this could really define a lot of things coming out from this one. What sort of maps do you think? Ooh, Paracel Storm. So, okay, let's break it down here because you know, the last map, definitely one of the more Fnatic-based maps. The one, first of all, Zavod, Against All Authority, really dominated on. But Storm, who does this favor now?
I'm going to go with Fnatic simply because I've seen them pull out some amazing displays on this map before. AAA, I don't know actually I've ever really seen them play this map very much. I think this is going to favor Fnatic, but at the same time, I think you're going to see a lot of interesting weapon choices. Are they going to go with the standard, or are they going to play with like Ace 52s? There we go. Seeing a good mixture there from AAA, but you're seeing a lot of Ace 52s. I think this will probably favor Fnatic, but at the same time, when AAA get that head of steam going, they're unstoppable.
Well, we can only wait and find out. For the Chinese side, it will be Against All Authority. I'm not sure if they're going live straight off the bat. They might be, and the US side will be Fnatic. So let's have a little look to see what they're going for straight away. Bit of an interesting split coming out. 2v2 going down on the A side, whereas a little bit more defensive from Against All Authority. I do hear a couple... Oh, did I hear a rocket launcher going off then? I wouldn't be surprised, as Enox will pick up the first kill here. And we are seeing C going into the hands quite easily of Fnatic, obviously, with that spawn. B will be swung over towards Against All Authority, but Raiden straight away getting into those buildings, looking like they want to cover over that B site. He does have that rocket launcher in hand, so looking to take down those buildings, maybe remove it from the possible options from Fnatic, as Unfixed still doing the damage. 2-1 hold for Against All Authority right now, but here's the swing factor. Maybe Unfixed can come in here and recap this site over. No one can really challenge straight away, and we are seeing a little bit of a turnaround from Fnatic. Maybe a little bit better setup for this one.
A lot better for them. They lost out quite heavy at the beginning, but they managed to reset it, and it's control of the building between B and A. And with that, they've been able to really cause a lot of issues for AAA, probably when they assumed that they were quite safe.
Yeah, Raiden now is in trouble on the A side as well. He's pretty much the only man there. His teammate did get taken down. Trying to get this little bit of a couple of nades through. He gets spotted down, dropping to those trenches. So not the ideal route now. He's in a little bit of trouble, having to back away. He's just toying with them, maybe keeping them busy, as the rest of his side will be trying to cap over that B side, but no easy feat with the likes of Winghaven pushing in. Too Easy trying to get up and cover him off if he can. Help him out as much as possible. But we are seeing that swinging back into the hands of Fnatic. So well-held threat then, and really damage control from Fnatic, at least, for now.
Yeah, but those buildings, once again, playing a big, big part of both team strategies, because as soon as you get a hold of it, you can just jump off between that B and that A flag, and you can see AAA focusing on that quite a lot, but they are being held in position, and you can see that Fnatic are going to take that C flag over any opposition right now, and it all comes down to how much these teams are going to invest into holding these buildings, because they are so key.
It looks like against Authority have the better setup players for now. They have the 2 buildings to 1 over towards that east side. Now we're seeing like the likes of Broma and Drunk splitting out, looking like they want to get that B site into hand pretty damn swiftly. But immediately there's a push coming in from Unfix, gets the respawns onto him. He's looking for the challenge onto Broma, loses out on that one. Valu, well aware that this player is extraordinarily close to him, goes hunting, but he's actually surrounded by these players. There's that man just next to him. Nice little pick up onto Enox. Looking for the revive onto Too Easy. He's got time to try and get that, the paddles as kind of powerful as possible, if the best way to put it. But at the moment, this is a very close game. 221 tickets to 120 tickets to 125. Numbers are hard work, and we are seeing possibly a triple cap coming out. The A side is going back over to Fnatic, but neither side is getting that full hold yet.
Yeah, Fnatic, though, seem to really be struggling on B quite a lot. I mean, C is one of these flags, so if you control the B area, you can usually influence by just crossfire from buildings. Though it looks like AAA are really just trying to make sure that they mop up this B flag as quick as possible. That's probably going to lose out for the C. And right now, AAA are going to pretty much have to stick to holding this B flag, because Fnatic constantly on the attack here.
Yeah, Valu trying to go for a sneaky little cap there on towards the B side, gets found in the back from Apricot. But we are seeing Winghaven and Co with a nice little spawn towards C, so obviously looking towards that one straight away. Very little challenge. They should be able to convert that one without much resistance, but against All Authority dominating almost half of the map now. Broma getting straight over towards A. Too Easy now coming around on the flank. He's in the perfect position to really cause trouble here. Picking up one, spots out Enox, does not get the immediate follow-up, however, so not the most pretty of kills. Winghaven will be coming in, picking up a couple of his own. Nice little bit of positioning from Too Easy, with Valutaja just really holding back the opposition, but the flag has gone the other side's way, so not ideal so far. And at the moment, Fnatic are losing out on those tickets.
Yeah, and both AAA constantly seem to be struggling on that A flag. It seems to always go over to Fnatic. A lot of practice has been put into making sure that they capture them flags early on. But at the same time, B's where they've been shut out every time. That's okay, though, because they're okay with C and A. But the problem is that they're flags that can go down quite quickly if the defenders get caught out. And they will be caught out because of spawns quite regularly.
Yep, so we are seeing that C side going over towards the Against All Authority side. There is one player trying to contest it over there. It will be, I believe, Winghaven, but he's surrounded by these guys, and he's playing it perfectly, taking his time, maybe wait on the respawns, maybe just trying to cause issue to Against All Authority, splitting their attention as the rest of Fnatic will be possibly teasing and toying with the idea of getting B into hand. Valu, the last man really over towards his side, doing the job on his own. A, the last bastion of hope for Against All Authority, and really this is a nice turnaround from Fnatic here if they cap the sites they need.
Yeah, and it was an overcommitment by AAA onto that A flag. A lot of them left the buildings to try and come forward, and Fnatic just took them apart. This has opened up the B flag for Fnatic, a flag point that they've been struggling with. But you can see AAA's response to this is to really outflank them, completely outflank them, and threaten A without even going near the buildings.
Yeah, and Apricot, they actually run with the Scar H, so interesting to see these guys adapting across, but Fnatic not so much. Too Easy, just going straight in for the aggressive play now, not going for the building approach, but he's just going to be challenging Enox down straight up, and he's just going to lose out as well. So that should be going over to Against All Authority, and AAA already have their position set up in that building, making it hard work towards that A hold. Broma does go down to Winghaven as he will be taking his place, and Fnatic should be able to hold at least a 2-1 for a couple more seconds if Unfix can stop the threat on this C site now.
Yeah, Fnatic brought the wrong ace gun to that close quarter fight, and it went drastically AAA's way. But at the same time, Fnatic's successes have been on that C and A flag, and it's something it's forcing AAA to come forward, because they can't allow that bleed to be against them for so long.
Yeah, 84-85, very close game. No team being able to get set up fully. Valu going for the sneaky cap onto B. He's probably spotted out by now. Raiden, however, will fall, but Drunks will pick up the kill eventually. And now we are seeing B swinging back over, but this time Fnatic are set up in the buildings, so looking to spam down, get those nades through. We do see more picking up the kill onto Drunks there, so Fnatic could hold this B side. We are seeing Enox converting A, and C going in the favor of Against All Authority, so it's a 2-1, and Fnatic just never seem to be able to come out of these situations in the best position possible.
Yeah, but AAA have just been dealt a blow. One of their players is out of the game, and they are playing 4v5 right now. They did have the bleed, but I'm not sure how long that is going to take for them to get their fifth guy back in. And this is not looking good for a game, which, to be honest, up to this point, has been very, very even.
Yeah, that is going to be really heartbreaking stuff for these guys. As soon as you start losing out on players, it's very hard even just mentally to get yourself back into it. But Against Authority, still trying to hold on to that B side. They did get a good couple of players on it. And we are seeing one player walking away with the advantage. But round the back, we do have... I went onto the wrong player. It was Valutaja picking up the kill. So B could be swung back over. But already the respawn's coming through. They're just focusing down the B side. Lovely little maid. Eliminates any threat that B had. And they've already got the setup ready to hold up here in the buildings. We've got 2easy and Winghaven splitting around the side to challenge out A, and C just being left in the hands of Fnatic already. So this is not looking good. At least a good little random spawn cut in for Against Authority should at least get them the C site.
Yeah, AAA back in with their fifth player, and now it's time to really... They have to chase this game now, as they are quite far behind. You can see Fnatic weren't even trying to defend the flag as soon as they knew it was 4v5. They just came forward aggressively. They were like sharks there, and now they're just holding that B flag so consistently with the building control.
Yeah, most certainly are, and I do like the Megalodon reference then. I did appreciate it. We are seeing Drunks going on the push, finding more, trying to do what he can from these buildings, but just Fnatic comfortable now. They're already capping over C. It's going to be a trip cap against All Authority, and there's very little to be done. As you mentioned, when you have those 4 players, they finally have their 5th back, but the damage really did get done. 68 tickets to 35. Fnatic are set up, and they're winning the exchanges. Valu locking down C. He might have some pressure soon from the likes of Broma, but I'm pretty sure he can win this one. Actually, with the revive coming in, maybe there's going to be a challenge here, but Against All Authority, they're locked out of the map. The spawns are not helping them right now.
No, not at all. As soon as they got full cap, they basically ended up in the top left side of the map, and this is where Fnatic are planning to keep them for the rest of this game, and they're just not going to let them out. And right now, AAA are kind of coming apart. They have one good chance here. They need to get this B flag captured, but right now they're being butchered at C.
Yeah, they certainly are. Unfixed doing the damage from quite far back. We are seeing a couple of flags being challenged out, though. B being the main one to keep your eyes on. Apricot get himself there quite early on, but those nades are doing so much work. It should, in theory, eventually fall into the hands of Fnatic here, unless Against All Authority can get to this one quickly. But we are seeing only 10 tickets now remaining for Against All Authority, and they have just not had the best of runs. Unfixed already going over towards C. This could be another trip cap. Against All Authority not finding a route in this one. They're locked out, trying to get onto B. They're running up a hill that's just got Winghaven shooting from the top, mowing them down. Drunks finally comes back in, but the damage has been done. 3 tickets now left. Any respawns could cause you massive, massive trouble. And there we have it. A very big lead for Fnatic now. 64 tickets in their favor, finally, with the advantage on the half.
Yeah, and 64 tickets, you can come back from that, but you only start with 150 tickets each round. And wow, my heart goes out to AAA. That was a very, very competitive game until the drop. And I don't know how much that swung it in their favor, but really, I do feel that it kind of took the soul from that team. And they never really recovered from that.
Yeah, it's so hard just mentally knowing, well, we've kind of lost out on at least maybe a minute or 2 here of tickets going in our way. And they did get triple capped off the back of it, but sometimes that is the way the cookie crumbles, alas. And, they're going to be kind of surely keeping that back in their mind, but there's not much you can do really when that happens to these people. You just gotta kind of cut your losses, but it's a shame to see it happening in a best of 3 in the finals, in the semi-finals at least, with so much on the line. But 64 tickets, is that too much, do you think, for Against All Authority? But do you think that maybe they could get set up well enough now to actually lock down some of these sites rather than the constant exchange?
What they need very early control. They need to force Fnatic into the same position that they themselves were just forced into at the last round, kept at the top left of the map and completely unable to get onto the flags. That's the only way AAA are going to be able to win this. We've seen them come back from quite impressive deficits already when Fnatic was completely in control. They can do this. It's just how psychologically damaged were they by that last round. I mean, they had the cap, they had the bleed, they were in control, and then they lost their player and they didn't have the people to defend, and that's where it fell apart for them.
Well, hopefully they can overcome all the issues that clearly kind of halted their progress in the last couple of minutes there. But on the Chinese side, it's going to be Fnatic, and on the US team, it's going to be Against All Authority. So if we see the US side of Against All Authority drop below 64 tickets, it will be Fnatic going through to the finals. So let's find out how this one's going to go down here, as we do see a massive kind of start going out from Fnatic, mostly focusing out B, whereas it's a bit of a more even split from Against All Authority, trying to get to those buildings straight away. Looking for the cross, Drunks and Raiden doing the job. Lovely little play going out from Raiden there. Looking like wants to get straight into the faces, just catching a glimpse of Valu. Does not get the immediate kill and will be taken down. Unfixed and Valu doing real work there, and that is the perfect start, but Drunks still surrounded by the opposition. Will not get a chance towards B. That should be going over to Fnatic, and they will be taking the A site as well. So a 2-1 hold straight away. Against All Authority not having the best of starts now.
No, and this is kind of reversing what happened at the beginning of the first round, and they still have building control, and they need to keep a hold of this as much as they can. But right now, not the start they needed. They need to clear up these buildings, but you can see Fnatic are pretty much in every single one.
Yeah, finally Broma, and I believe that's Raiden, actually made their way through here, but straight away you're seeing the players from Fnatic pushing in. They're not happy to allow this to go to the other side so easily. We are seeing that 2-1 hold in favor to Fnatic still. Finally, though, Against Authority finding their feet within, reason, but C is being counter-capped. This is not looking good. Valu could just push in here if he fancies it. He does get taken down, though, so not the easiest of starts there. They're not going to get the triple cap, and B now being converted over by Against All Authority. Is this a little bit of a better chance for them now? Are they in a position maybe to lock this one down?
It's a difficult one because the building they need to be at to be able to hold that C flag is the one just between B and C. And right now they got no one in it because they're too worried about Fnatic's forward pressure on B. And C is wide open. It's a one-on-one between Winghaven and Raiden. But at the same time, the big fight at B slowly is going in AAA's way. But because of it's going so decisively in AAA's way, they're reinforcing that C flag.
Yeah, they certainly are. 3 players there for Fnatic. B should be comfortably in the hands for now, at least, of Against All Authority. And now the push towards C can begin, making their way up the hill. 3 players now trying to make the approach. We are seeing at least a couple breaking through. Broma doing the damage, so he's at least getting the foot in the door, following it up as well. Lovely play from him. But can they find Winghaven? Yes, they can. Gets the assist on it. And that should be the side, at least for now, going over into their favor. But the respawns coming in from Fnatic are towards that B site, so they should be able to get back over this one. But the nades are landing pretty damn well this time for Against All Authority. So kind of keeping the Wolves at bay. Against All Authority holding the 2-1, but they probably need the A side considering Fnatic spawn now.
Oh, they've got what they wanted. This is what I said they needed to get. The problem is that they're filtering too many people back to capture A fight. They don't need that. They need to just keep Fnatic in this position. The problem is that they know that they've got a free flag to capture and they're going for it. But they had Fnatic in the position they wanted, and they are going to take a lead. But Fnatic have been able to break out of it, and they will put pressure on that B flag and A very soon.
Yeah, going on a very long rotate, actually, all around the back, not taking any chances this time. And we are seeing finally the players filtering towards the side. We do see one man still standing within those buildings. Does get taken down, but look at Unfix really going the long way. But they've been trip-capped out of this. Now, you do not want to give Against All Authority any chances in this. Lovely little pick-up from Unfixed, but he does give away the game that he is heading towards A, but no one there to contest it. Already set up in the buildings. Against All Authority could hold this one. And it's a good little hold so far. Unfixed will be switching over the A site, so that's the best of a bad situation. But if Against All Authority can hold the buildings for now at least, they might be able to lock down that 2-flag hold.
Yeah, but they're starting to get cleaned out in that house. But that is their chance for the comeback here. But you can see Fnatic's approach to this is a very good one. They're pressuring these flags as much as possible. They're going for flags, not the frags. And it's the bleed that's going to do the damage at the end of the day. And right now, AAA are just trying desperately to hold on to this B and C flag. Committed 3 people to defend it, and that's probably going to give the houses over to Fnatic.
Yeah, it certainly will. C was, however, contained. We are seeing the push coming in now from Against All Authority, trying to reclaim those houses, trying to get into this one. Broma doing the job as well. He's finally rotating off the C site. Drunks and Enox, though, in the buildings, looking to reclaim this one to make sure B does not go too easily into the hands of Fnatic, but he's taking his time now. He does not want to get too involved too quickly, but he's already been tagged up, spotted out. They know the game plan, and Against All Authority's lead might be swinging back away from them here. C being challenged out as well by Moore. This is not going to be good. This could be a triple cap unless Against All Authority can cut their losses and choose what they want to do now.
Yeah, it's so up in the air though. But AAA, they're getting control of the game. The problem is they're now not fighting as much for this round than it were for what happened in the previous one, and that is what I'm more worried about at this point. As soon as they go below 64 tickets, they lose. It doesn't matter how much they control this game, and you can just see Fnatic know that, and they just keep going for those flags. One man pushes, two man pushes, anything to just keep AAA on the back foot the whole time.
Well, C now being the ideal site for these guys. We are seeing a 1v1 going through here. Backup finally arriving for Against Authority, but as Kem said, as can the same thing be said for Fnatic. Words are difficult, people, and this one isn't going too easily over to Against Authority. The 2-1 hold will be challenged out very quickly. Apricot, pretty much the last standing Bastion, has to go huge to keep this one in their favor. Doing what he can, keeping the tickets as high as possible, but he does finally get taken down. And we are seeing B being contested over by Against Authority. They already have A, so once again, holding to the 2-1, but this game is really going to come down to the wire here.
Yeah, and you can just see AAA trying their best here. They can do this, though. They can do it. They ain't got many tickets to play with. They're playing on pretty much about, what, 25 right now?
Yep.
They don't have much room to play with. But they just need to force Fnatic into the side of the map that they were there previously. They've almost done it. The problem is Fnatic know what they have to do at this point, and that's just to get as far behind enemy lines as possible and pull away defenders.
Well, B now being the site to keep your eyes on. These guys are going back and forth with this one. It was a 2v2. Make it a 1v3 now. The player tucked in. Broma is in trouble. Down to 40 HP. Looking to try and hold on to this, but too easy. Pushing forward. 88 tickets now remaining. Keep your eyes on that US side. If they drop below 64, Fnatic go through to the finals. Not Against All Authority, but Against All Authority and not going out with a fight. But Apricot's nade did not help him out at all there. And we are seeing C going over towards Against All Authority, cutting their losses on B. But I don't see them holding on to A either. This could be a 2-1 against them if they can't challenge out one of these sites.
And here's the place that AAA do not want to be in. Forced out on this C flag with no ability to influence the fight on these houses. It's pretty much exactly what happened to them in the previous round. They have one good chance to break out and be here, and it's going to be raided. He needs more people to spawn on top of him, though, and this is going to be it for AAA. This is their last chance to break Fnatic's defense.
Well, here we go. Already expecting this. Players in the apartments. He's right to be feeling so, but he is being challenged out slowly but surely. 61 HP left. The nades yet to start running. He has got backup. They're still holding C. They've got the 2-1 hold. This is what they needed, but 75 tickets is not a lot because 64 is a magic number, and more already doing the damage. They've got to spawn towards that C side. We are seeing Value already expecting the A push. He's got the tag. Enox does not go down, however. Spams out the nade. This is unbelievably close. Value does win the battle. That will be swung over, and Winghaven going for the C side. It could be too little too late. Can Against All Authority do anything now?
I think that is pretty much it. They need to be in too many places, and they don't have enough tickets to do it. They probably have a chance to push on C, but there's just too many Fnatic players all around, and I think it's all over for AAA right now.
66 tickets, one more away now, and it looks like Fnatic are on the verge of going through to the grand finals here. They've gone and done it at the very last second, getting that trip cap, just pushed them over the top there, and a beautifully played out game from both teams. You've got to ask the question though, if that player didn't drop, then would this be a different story? And that's probably going to be the biggest question for Against All Authority when they come out of this one. But a great game all around. A little bit disheartening for Against All Authority to walk away, obviously after a fantastic game they just played, and Fnatic through to the final. Who do you think's going to be joining them? That's the big question now.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see, but UMAV versus Epsilon is going to be one of those games that can swing, just deciding on how both teams play in the day. They're both good enough to beat each other, so we'll have to wait and see.
Brilliant games coming up, guys, so do not go anywhere. If you do decide to tune out, you're going to miss a phenomenal match, which will be coming up in just a moment. I'll be throwing up the brackets for you as soon as I can find the buttons to click. Buttons are hard work, you know what I mean? You can't press all the buttons at the same time. Let's jump onto this one so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So there you go. So out of the upper bracket semi-final, we do have Fnatic obviously moving forward into the final position. Against Authority, they'll be staying where they are, but there's the next game. Epsilon Esports up against Team UMAV. It's a clash of the titans, certainly something you do not want to be missing out on, so do stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Peggy 18. 甚至他们的国旗，一边忍受他们的傲慢，一边等待时机。现在，时机终于到了，让他们见识我们民族的伟大。